Welcome to the Marjorie Taylor Greene for President campaign headquarters. As goofy as that sounds, it's not quite as dumb as you think because when it comes to the government shutdown, she's about the only person making any sense right at the moment. Truly, she really
Oh,
is.
it's I couldn't agree more. And I kind of had a visceral dislike of her for a while, and I thought she was woefully underqualified for her position. But I have no experiences it. Neither do you. But she's gotten it now, and she's the only one making sense.
But yeah, and I think she's probably doing there's some opportunistic stuff in there, but I don't even care because all politicians are opportunistic. But the shutdown, she's saying, let's go back in, let's vote on this, let's talk about this in the open. And of course, Mr. Johnson, well, we can't be talking about all this in front of the public, considering we're paying for it, you think maybe he could. But
Yeah.
everyone right now, this is a perfect example of them just jockeying for position because that's all you hear about. It's really no one talks about the people who are getting hammered by this. They're saying, well, who's it look worse for? Who's it look better for on the news? That's all you hear. That's all you hear.
Yeah, and that's terrible. And I was listening to Schumer, and that's like pitiful too. It's just horrible. And Johnson, all really he cares about is getting on Trump's Johnson. That's basically his whole goal in life. And I don't know, except for Marjorie, she's saying, hey, let's come in and talk about it.
I tell people, I said, you want to avoid these in the future? Make sure they don't get paid and they don't get benefits. No, take away everything. And during that time period and see how long we get locked down then.
And so they're getting their full medical, they're going to the doctor, their kids are going to the doctor, they're getting all their benefits, they're getting paid, and they're on vacation, and nothing's getting done. And there's other stuff besides reopening the government that they need to be doing. And they're not doing that either.
This is the first time we've had a lockdown where our leader of our country really hasn't got involved in it. He's too busy in other bullshit as usual. Yet usually they try to step in and push people together. But you can't tell me how these people can justify this at this point. I don't care who it looks better for or worse for. It looks like shit for all of them. This is a time to clean house. It truly is. There's no leadership on either side. This is our fault, folks. This is our fault. We keep voting for incumbents all the time. And I don't see how that's panning out whatsoever. I want to jump to another topic. And you were involved in this witness part of this, and I saw some, but the No Kings protest. Uh, would you were down there? What did you get from the people there? Is this? Let me phrase a question like this. Some people are saying it's a bunch of left wing, radical, violent idiots, and what did you see?
Got some video and everything. And the funny thing is, Jack, it was mostly people my age in walkers, Vietnam vets, older guys older than me and stuff. And I said, well, God, that's funny. You don't look like an Antifa terrorist. And one old lady goes, well, I'm not a terrorist, but I'll tell you, I'm Antifa. She goes, because I'm against fascism. And I go, well, so am I. I said, my dad was in World War II fighting it. And I agree with you. These were just nice, wholesome people, and almost to a person, except for one girl I talked to, all of them, this was their first time protesting. And they go, look, I've had it. I know, I feel like I have to come out here and say something.
I think the mistake that they're making, and when I say them, it's Trump. I mean, I'm not going to hide it. This guy literally wants to be a monarch, and but the mistake they're making with this is they pick it. You got LGBTQ or whatever you want to call it, and then you've got now they're poking Antifa, which they don't even understand. They poke all these different groups and they're blaming all of them. And this, what's happened is all these groups are kind of coming together. Locally in Iowa City, a guy did some interviews down there. He found 11 different or people from 11 different areas of philosophy, the reason they were marching. There was gay people marching, people with voter rights marching, people with the school issue because the schools are getting defunded. And they say, oh, no, they're not. Oh, yes, they are. And people from the colleges who made a great point. I mean, I thought they were talking about, the freedom of speech thing, and they were marching. So all these different groups with different ideas are marching. And like he said, one old veteran was marching. He says, so what brings you down to march? And he says, well, what the fuck are they doing in Washington? This And this was an old veteran. He goes, that you can see, he says, "Sir, can I ask if you're a Democrat, Republican?" He goes, "I don't know what the hell I am now." He says, "I was raised a Democrat, became Republican, and now I'm marching in the street, and I'm 82 years old." And so
Ah.
that's what you got. You got everybody out there. There's a hell of a, you usually don't get a cross section like that. In Vietnam War marches, there was no cross section.
No, but then again, the Vietnam War protest was about the Vietnam War. And
Exactly.
this is exactly what you just said. In my head and in their head, I might be protesting for one thing, and there might be five people next to me, and all five of them are protesting for different reasons. Most of it is government overreach. I mean, and in reality, and a lot of them don't like troops going in the streets. If there's a riot, they do. When we had the LA riots here, well, they called in the National Guard, and well, they should have. I get that. But calling them in for no reason, the military doesn't like it. National Guard doesn't like sleeping in tents and hanging out on the streets and picking up trash. It's it's just they different people have different reasons for protesting, and all of them are valid.
Yeah, it was kind of, yeah, it was crazy. They were talking about all the violence you're going to see, and beforehand they were laying it out there. And then I saw the short interview from a New York police superintendent or something like that, and they were talking about not one arrest, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing happened.
Think about that.
New York City,
Millions of people out. New York City, but they had a few 100,000. No arrests. It looked like where I was. I live in Riverside, and it was downtown. It looked like a Barney episode. There was people in blow up dinosaur suits except they had their legs sticking out. There wasn't nobody there violent, and it was just normal Americans like myself. And that was my first time I've ever gone. And mostly I kind of went and to get some video and just to talk to people. But once I got there, but I in reality I felt like, well, I can't sit and complain about this bullshit if at least I don't go down there and put one more voice to the cause. And and this isn't, like you said, it's on Trump, but I'm protesting the way the other side, it's not them. It's always been them against them, and we get fucked. That's the way it's always been. It's the way it is now, and I'm sick of it. All of them.
yeah, this is kind of an extreme them versus them though right now.
Yeah.
It really is. There are some people there are people I talk to, and I try to make a habit of talking to several people every day about this, though sometimes I get a little frustrated with it, but there are people talking about some serious things with this. There's some people hurt now on this. There are people are getting damaged, and they're finding out their glorious leader they voted for, we don't give a shit. He's in. And he intends to stay in, and so he don't need votes again, you know?
Well, fortunately, though, we are going to get a brand new ballroom out of this.
Yeah, I'm
I
glad you
mean,
brought that up.
I I can't wait to get out there and see that gold-plated piece of shit.
Well,
I,
he said he's accomplishing something there that presidents have tried to accomplish for 150 years. I don't remember any president mention a gold-plated ballroom. Any president. I'm 67. During that time period, he didn't. I mean, I
no,
don't know who would have done. No.
and it's ugly. And the inside of this gold leaf, he really does fancy himself being a king. He's more of a queen, actually. But it's just horrible. I mean, it's so ridiculous. And what I want to know, they put this big list of donors up that are paying for this. What are they getting out of it, Jack?
Consideration. That's what kills me. He said, and it's right on the application for the donors thing, a statement. It says they're going to get consideration.
Yeah,
What does that mean? You know what
that
that
means
means?
that means I'm not going to sick the FCC on you if you want to go merge with someone. And if
Exactly.
you yeah, and if you don't give me some money, I'm going to sick some agency on you.
The prosecutions, they're going to have to fund these prosecutions of all these people. He builds this ballroom, the tax benefits to these major corporations, like the guy from Amazon, who gets a check back from us every year, though he pays no taxes. And you would tell me the benefit in that? I'm probably missing it somewhere.
Oh, there's a benefit, okay? It just isn't coming to me or you. But at least a few good things are happening. I'm saying poor Trump, he's going to get what he's ordering the Justice Department to give him back. I forget what it is, 230 million or something for legal fees. Well, quit committing crimes, motherfucker. Quit taking classified documents home. You
My
know,
question to that is, my question so they're gonna pay him that back. Now, he said he may be giving it to, some charitable organization because he's
well,
known for
yeah,
being charitable. But the thing is right there is that, if I remember right, he had people help him pay that. You
yeah.
remember all that?
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, is he gonna refund to the people who helped him pay it? I'll bet he does. He's a straight up guy. He probably will. You know,
That's that's what I mean. They can afford to do everything, and and now he's taken off again, like you said. I mean, there was a like Biden, Obama. They did a lot of things I didn't like, but if there was a shutdown and stuff, to the man, they would stay here. They didn't take off while the government was shut down. They tried to herd the cats, which is hard to do, you know, and they stayed with it. And him take this will be the second time he's taken off during the shutdown, and it's basically so he can go over there and get some other foreign dignitary, to
I got one more thing in that ball, right? They've got this thing going around showing they said when Obama was in office, he tore down part of the White House to build a basketball court. He did renovate there was a tennis court to make it into a basketball court. And wounded veterans actually played basketball in that basketball court, by the way. So they show this picture, it's all demolished. And if you look around, there's like antique cars sitting over, but they're not antiques because in that day they were new cars because it happened during Harry's administration, Harry Truman. And they're posing this off as Obama. I mean, it's just so goddamn stupid. I
well,
it's hard to
it's like somebody who built the Rose Garden, was that Roosevelt, Eleanor, I forget. Eh, And the Rose Garden's been there forever now in our lifetime. It's been there for our whole lifetime. And they've had a lot of signings there and big events. Well, he didn't like it. He got rid of it. You know what it is now? A concrete slab.
yeah,
And
very
it's a
nice.
concrete slab. And you know what? You know what he put the concrete slab in for? Because he's planning on a UFC fight at the beginning of next year. You know, a MMA fight. So we can have guys beating each other to hell, which is fine. I'd watch it. I watch it, but not at the White House. Can we
They had
have
to
a
deal with
little decorum?
Marjorie Taylor Greene and Johnson because she'd whip his ass. And he's a little
Yes.
bitch boy. Yeah, she would. She'd knock hell out of him. Kind of funny.
I like it. Like I said, Marjorie's the only one that's making any sense right now. God, I can't believe I'm saying that.
Me either.
And
Well,
she's gone off the.
Massey from Kentucky is,
Yeah, yeah.
he was never radical, so he's not getting any attention, that kind of stuff. But the other thing is their transparency, and I'm not even going to get to the Epstein thing yet, but the transparency goes back to your favorite person and mine, Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of War. Um,
Yeah.
so he doesn't want any of the reporters coming to the Pentagon reporting anything unless he signs off on it. What's the problem there, buddy? Pete, what's wrong? And the funny thing about that is, guess who took him on right away? Bill O'Reilly. I mean, think of that. Bill O'Reilly thinks you're full of shit on that. I mean, and he is. So the reporters are going, we aren't doing it like that, and they're walking out. And don't quote me on this, but I think Fox News walked out on it too.
No, Fox News they waited a second, but not long. Fox News jumped on pretty quick. It's back to it's the list of characters that are now approved there, some of them foreign, and it's like a bunch of nobodies, and they're all sycophants of Trump's. Obviously, they don't realize the stories are still going to come out. They're just going to go meet at the cafe down the street and say, "Hey, this is all fucked up." But Hegseth, like I said, he's got to go. I think Trump knows it, and I think he's going to get rid of him. I think he's going to get rid of him after the first of the year myself, because he said he wasn't going to fire any of his cabinet in the first year. And I think he wants to stick to that. But Hegseth's an embarrassment.
He's
He
a
just
complete
is.
embarrassment. What do you think the military thinks of him? I mean,
I
seriously.
think you saw it. You didn't see them generals when he was talking? Oh, if looks could kill, he'd be dead, man.
There's a guy in like the fourth or fifth row back there showing it, and he's just looking at the floor, just staring at the floor. He wouldn't even look up. He's just looking down like this over here. the whole time, and those guys, you got some boys and girls in there who've been everywhere. And I mean, they've seen some serious shit.
Most of them generals in that were near the first Iran war, the 1991, they all did tours. And a lot of them did tours as senior commanders, though, like colonels and shit, in the last Iran Afghanistan war. So some of these guys have just like 6, 7, 8 tours. These are hardcore guys, a lot of them.
Yeah, it is. A couple of things I want to get into. I don't know if you saw this or not, but the Brennan Center for Justice said that Trump's bankroll they've raised the Trump super PAC has raised a record smashing $200 million in the first 8 months of his administration. And people are going, see, that's how favorable it is. But it came in through a slew of multi-mega million dollar donations. Statistically, they're showing CNBC talks about the top 10% of money makers, not wage earners, big difference, are flourishing during this time, but the lower end obviously is not flourishing. So you stop and think, it's like the boss's bankroll just gets huge, but the inmates, when you're in prison, are out eating ramens while the warden's eating at the top. And it's the same thing. You stop and think about it.
But I expect it in prison. I kind of expect it in prison. I committed, I was out selling weed and stuff when I know I wasn't supposed to. It wasn't legal at the time. I knew I broke the law. You broke the law. So, I expect we're going to take the shit end of the stick. And I can live with, I didn't like it. A lot of the things that happened, don't get me wrong, but I understood it. But this is just the working class are taking it in the ass now, and they didn't do anything wrong, and all they're trying to do is raise kids and have their kids get an education and maybe be successful. And deck's kind of stacked against them.
Then I'm going to go one last thing here, and I'm in the Midwest, so I hear about this everywhere. Bailing out Argentina.
We need the hamburger, Jack.
Yeah, yeah. All these beef farmers, and you're torn here. There's a fairly large group of people in the Midwest that are telling the beef farmers, fuck off. Too bad. We just won't buy beef anyway because we're not going to pay those higher prices. But the thing is, so these guys, and my understanding, they're a solid block of Trump supporters and voters. Now they're going, huh, huh, what are you doing? And it's totally stupid. Not only does he bail them out, then he's going to buy their beef.
Yes, yes. He opened our markets to their beef.
While,
Exactly.
while,
Yeah.
while he allows them to sell the soybeans to China.
Have you seen that president of Argentina?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God! Where does this cast of characters that Trump draws in? I don't know where he finds them. He definitely these walk-ons. But I mean, you look at his whole cabinet, and you look at the leaders that he really likes: the Kim Jong Uns, the guy from Argentina, the Hungarian, and it's just like a cast of. They're like movie caricatures of real people.
Yeah, it is. And the last thing, and this just came up this morning that I saw, is Trump wants to call off the tariff talks with Canada now, because in Canada, some people ran commercials of Ronald Reagan talking about tariffs and how they hurt the working class people. And Trump's not going to have anything to do with that. And one way I'm glad he doesn't have anything to do with it, because he shouldn't even be mentioned in the same breath as Ronald Reagan.
No, of
Period.
course not. Of course not.
Or anybody else who's been in that Oval Office. And people can say, well, so and so wasn't that good. So and so what? No, I'm going to tell you something. No one was like this. Every president we've had, including Nixon, believed they had the best ideas for the country heart, and they did it. Nixon followed court orders that got him thrown out of office that he didn't have to do. They told him, turn over the tapes. He could have destroyed him. They've been gone for months. They had a hard time prosecuting him. But you know what? He did it, turned him over, threw him out. Ford pardoned Nixon because he didn't want the country to go through a turmoil, as he was told in a meeting, for the next 4 to 6 years. He said, we can't do that. He pardoned him knowing he was told, you will lose the election if you do it. And he did it.
And he did it.
Jimmy Carter did things that I disagreed with, but he believed you're right, knowing it would cost him the election, but he did it. you know?
Yeah, it's but one thing they all had in common too, they all believed in democracy. They believed
Exactly.
in our country and to make America great, and I think it should be. But there's a lot of people, a big percentage of the population that thinks we would be better with a Christian nationalist dictatorship, and they don't think democracy works. It's frightening to me, Jack, the percentage of people that actually are following Trump. Trump doesn't believe in democracy, and they're trying to overturn it. And a lot of people think he could do a better job with, we don't need free and fair elections.
Well, yeah, it's yeah, and the Christians, you know,
Uh,
there is their way and there is no other way, except they've got their way is every individual Christian's way and the pompous idea they had how everybody else should live. That's their problem. And I'm a Republican saying that. These people, and I know, and I want you trying to generalize them because they don't, because I've noticed that there are a number of ministers speaking against Trump and the fake
right.
Christianity. And I give them credit. And the reason, even though I'm an atheist, but I don't hide it, I'm an atheist. But when someone believes in something, the only way you know if they believe in it, if they talk about it openly and follow it,
And follow it.
follow it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
most of Christians I know will talk all day about it and don't follow. I got a church right down the street. They put in millions of dollars, put in a new parking lot, build a new cathedral, and then they had a big sign out front that says, "Come with us on Sunday and pray for the poor." Are you shitting me? Really?
It's terrible. I guess I was telling you the other day, you guys, I know a lot of you viewers probably, you guys, you got to watch South Park. It's Jesus Christ is the high school counselor. And that's what the whole thing is about. These guys telling him, oh, I'm a Christian, and they're basically violent and everything, and he's looking, well, no, that's not what I said.
Well, anyway, well, we jumped all over this time, but that's what we do. So, we everybody, hey, get a chance, subscribe, give us your opinion on something. I've got some guys that sent me some stuff. We're going to be bringing up next couple weeks, and that's pretty much all we got from here. GT, any closing comments before we roll out the
Uh,
door?
That'll do it. Have a good weekend. That's it.
Jack and GT from Fed Joints and Beer Joints. We'll see you next week.